Voices of Sisterhood. We appreciate you guys joining us. I am Raquel, one of the co-hosts, and I am here with my fellow co-hosts, Fatia, Agnes, and Miss Diana. And boy, do we got a good show for you guys today. So we'll be talking about name changes. You know, are we in a time where females should still change their names? But before we'll do that, did you guys watch the Olympics?
I did.
Oh my gosh. What do you think of Snoop Dogg?
I loved it.
He was everywhere.
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 And had a uniform for everything.
Everything.
Yes.
He was on point. I was like, oh my God, they need to make him an official ambassador. He did such a great job.
He did.
Like, I was like, how could it be here when I just saw him here? He was funny. Oh my gosh. I loved
That's
it.
why they call him Snoop Dogg.
Yeah,
I
he's
know
everywhere.
it. I know.
And what about Tom Cruise?
Oh gosh.
Yes.
That ending
What
was
a stunt.
amazing.
What a stunt.
Yes.
It was amazing. So I'm really looking forward to the 2028 Olympics.
Yes.
Just because they had me all motivated and excited at the end.
USA did amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. We represented very
Yeah.
well at the Olympics.
And then
Yeah.
it made sense at the end. I was like, man, they keep showing Tom Cruise, and then Snoop Dogg was everywhere, and obviously they were in the closing of it. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. But one thing I think that got me a little worked up is the Jordans medal controversy.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, ladies?
A lot to me. I know sometimes technical can be issues, and if the judge, I mean, they are people are human beings, they can make mistake, but the way they announce, like she worked for it, and that's not her fault.
Yeah.
Right.
And she did her job. She performed excellent, and the fact that if the technical issues is
The
not,
scoring process is what you're saying.
yeah,
It's like,
and
okay.
the judge, I mean, they make mistake to announce that she won. Then again, one day later,
The
they
same
say-
day, I
the
think
same-
it was. They
it was
said
the
they
same
had
day.
to return it.
That's
So, so really, what it was is they scored her on her difficulty level.
Yeah,
So then the USA team challenged it, which they won
Right.
because they
They
did
had to
have her
add more points
scored
to it.
lower.
Yes.
But then it came back and said they did it 4 seconds too late. But to me, I'm like, first of all, you accepted it.
Right.
If they were 4 seconds late, you should have told them right then. So that way it would have alleviated.
yeah,
So there's plenty of opportunities along that way to correct themselves.
yes. Not only that, the emotional come with that, the psychological,
all the
mental,
racial stuff that started happening to
Oh
her
my
afterwards.
gosh.
What did that have to do with that?
Yeah. And
The racial stuff, the mental that she had to deal with for no unknown reason. It was not her fault.
it wasn't
It's
her
not her
fault,
fault.
nor was it Anna's fault,
Right.
the one from Romania.
Romania.
It's neither one of their faults. And
They could have got both of them bronze medals.
Yes.
I don't understand why they
Yes.
just didn't do that.
Yeah.
I agree to that.
Why didn't they just do that? Because now I'm just think how even the Romanian gymnast Anna, I wish I could say her last name. I think is Barbusa.
Something like that.
Barbusa?
Yes.
How does she feel now? Because now will her country look at her like, oh, she really didn't get it.
Right.
Technically, she got it because of a technicality. I don't think I'd want that medal with
No.
that stigma
Personally,
attached to
I don't
it.
like that either. I mean, I saw my name. I was being third
Uh-huh.
bronze medal there
Yeah.
already, and then I was bumped to number 4 or 5th.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been practicing. I mean,
Both of them.
yes,
Yeah, both of
for
them.
so many, maybe 2 or 3 years of
Mm-hmm.
rehearsing and all
yeah.
that.
And
Yeah.
also they work hard. It's not
They-
easy to be gymnastic.
No.
It's not
There's some
really
strength
easy.
behind
Like
that.
Oh,
it
yeah.
is. And also how many obstacles you have to challenge yourself. You have to push yourself. Every work you put in. Now you are international and TV. You were announced. It's just the mental part. You see, like it's not the material.
Right.
Everything you work for now, you've been told like you're not good enough. What you
Yeah.
did. That
Yeah.
is. I can't.
So to me, what should have happened was the Olympics committee should have apologize
Yes.
for the mistake
Yeah.
and just say they're awarding 2 bronze medals.
Right.
Yes.
Why take one away? That's what I don't get.
Give it.
Why
And,
take it
really,
away?
Charles, she really won.
Oh,
Based on
she
the
did
point
win.
system.
She did win.
She won based on the points. But one thing I like in the article, it says, we as athletes don't deserve something like this. We only want to perform as best as we can and be rewarded based on our performance.
Yes.
The problem is with the judges.
Yes.
And the calculation and the decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not with them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But when social media hit it, it almost made it with them.
Oh yeah.
And it made
well,
it to me-
Jordan had
yes.
to get off of social media because
mental,
of
Because
it.
of that. But the judges, they should say,
Oh.
okay, it's our fault.
Right.
They should take responsibility.
responsibility.
The part that they didn't do their job. I mean, people make mistakes, right? But at the same time, they should not announce you didn't. It just is wrong.
Yeah.
It is wrong. They're not accountable for what they
Yes.
announce.
Right.
Yeah, I just
But
think
it
there should
happens
have been
in a lot
other
of
ways.
sports, though,
It
y'all.
does.
Even in like modeling and stuff, it's such a competition thing out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
judges, they really got to be on it. And whoever
Yes.
the person is that got to report to the judges need to be
On it.
You
Make
know,
sure
know
it's
your time. You
correct.
got to get that information.
And I like the
But they-
support though that she's getting. I mean,
Yes.
her coach is behind her all the way.
Yes.
Yes,
And that's-
and her team rallied behind her. You know, I love that whole aspect, and I'm pretty sure all the Olympians came
And I like
together
it too
to
that she
rally.
removed herself away
Yes.
from the
Good
media
for
and
her.
social
Good
media.
for
yeah.
her.
But
Yeah.
you know, Biles did that
Oh,
as well one
yeah.
time. She stepped back from social media to get her mental health right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure on
Yes.
these young ladies.
Yes.
A lot of pressure.
Yes.
on them.
Imagine then, not only that now, you do not want to let down your team, you do not want to let down your family, so many
And your
areas that
country.
your country, and everybody's watching you. And then you did your best, you gave your best performance
Yeah.
when you've been told that that's when it hit you.
Right.
And mentally, I'm
That's
glad
true.
that she take off from social
Oh,
media.
yeah.
It's just sometimes people like, oh God.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
just
he
like,
come in for no reason.
Another issue that came up during the Olympics was the gender, especially on the
Yeah.
boxing side of the house. I was like, you know, this poor lady can't help the way she looks.
Right, strong features.
Strong features. That's the word
That's
for
it,
it.
strong
Strong
features.
features. But I can imagine
I
all
like
the
that.
bullying she had to go through life, first of all, and then get bullied because she's dominating
Yep.
a sport that she trained for her life.
Right.
It's really
She's trying
sad.
to say she was a male and she's a female.
Yeah.
And she earned it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
she can't help how you're born. But it came back in 2008, Raquel. I was
Yeah.
telling you, superstar Usain Bolt was forced to return his Olympic gold medal that he won in a 4x100 relay in 2008 in the
Oh,
Belgium Olympics.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, there's got to be a better system if it's happening often
Yes.
that we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Oh
And
my.
then even with the boxing, did y'all not look before they got in there to box?
Right,
I mean,
yes.
come on now.
It's not like they just showed up the day
Right.
of and know who was entered. You know who was competing.
They register you, they give you by your weight sometimes.
Yes.
And they do all that is they are processed to get in the boxing when you
Yeah.
do that because you have to match and
Mm-hmm. And granted, I mean, I think what started it all was because she hit her opponent so hard that she didn't want to get back in the ring. You know,
I don't want to laugh, but
I know it. Well, that's what I'm saying. I was like, well, that's the sport you chose. You know, so
Right.
you're gonna get hit hard. Sometimes
Yes.
you're gonna get knocked out.
Yes.
yeah, you
It
just
might
have to learn how to get up.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that person who hit you was a man.
Right.
You know, but yeah, there was a lot of controversy throughout this Olympics, but a lot of good stuff came out. So obviously, the U.S. won the most medals. We tied with China for the most gold medals.
Right.
Yeah, but China, they're always
They train
good.
a lot too.
Yes,
They train a
yes.
lot.
The train start from little, very
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
years old.
But even, you know, I was watching the dive competition. They are amazing.
They are amazing.
I don't even know if I could just go up there just to jump off it, let alone do all those flips and stuff that they were doing and the twists and turns. Oh my goodness! But it
Even
was
the
good to
floor
watch.
can do that.
Oh jeez. Mm-mm.
Even
No.
the floor exercise, the gym, those
Yes.
gyms. Oh my gosh, how
Their
many
body
times
strength
they
is
would-
strong.
I
It's
know, and then
crazy.
they'll laugh.
Yeah. Well, even I was really impressed on the water polo.
Yes.
They don't touch the bottom of the pool at all. And they're like coming like this much out of the water. You know, they're like up there
Right.
like dolphins. Ooh.
Sailing through there like that. That's amazing
Yes.
to me.
I mean, such great athleticism.
This is what we call it dedication.
Yes, yeah. But there was
training.
one.
Dedication.
There was one category. I was like, what the heck is breakdancing doing in the Olympics?
Olympics.
I was-
Breakdancing.
And did you see them breakdancing?
They went
Oh
old school on this
no! One was doing like a bunny hop. I was like, I don't remember doing that on my cardboard.
First, I thought it was a commercial. I said, breakdancing cannot be in the Olympics. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Now it's a sport.
Yeah, yeah. I think they
Wow.
said they're not going to bring it back. They are
Maybe
not
it
going
was for entertainment purpose only.
Yeah.
They should have
It
been.
should be, yeah.
I could not believe that though. I was like breakdancing. I don't even. At first, I was like, do people still do that? I guess.
Yeah. But you know,
But they
ladies,
can spin on their back though. That's amazing.
Oh,
I
yeah, yeah.
hope that they'll be able to resolve this child's thing.
Oh yeah.
That way we
yeah.
can all move forward.
I do know Romania is going to issue her medal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Charles said she's coming back in 2025. And when she come back, she's coming back with a vengeance
Oh,
this
I
time.
bet.
Yeah.
And that's what I was worried about because with gymnasts, once they get after a certain age, you know, because her and Simone both are up in their early 20s.
Yeah.
You know.
I think she's 23, 24.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, she should be able to do another
Yeah.
Olympics. Oh my goodness.
But I tell you one thing, it was just such an honor to see all three of them get that stage and the bow that they gave.
I
Oh,
love
to
that part.
Brazil?
I'm thinking that was
I
just
love that part.
absolutely
Very emotional for me.
yes.
You see how
Yes.
respect, this is how it should be, you know?
That's that sisterhood
Yes.
that they know
That's
the
very
trouble
powerful.
and you know the tribulations that they had to overcome to get to that point. But Brazil was good.
Yes.
She was good.
Yes, she was.
She was good.
But
Definitely
also,
deserved
Raquel,
it.
I still like the support, even though what's
Yeah.
going on. I mean, how they're texting each other, hang in there.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome to me.
Oh, yeah.
Because they know that it's not them, it's the judges.
Yeah.
So to be able to say, let's stay together, let's work together, you know, hang in there, do whatever you got to do, we support you, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
You know what
I
is
love
most
that.
amazing? They're young, they still understand life
Yeah.
and support
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
respecting one another with their talent.
Mhm.
Adult, they don't even do that.
Yeah,
I'm just being
yeah.
honest. Like,
Well-
young, we learn from young.
One thing
Yeah.
I really was impressed with was the commercials that they showed during the Olympics. And that went to what you guys were saying, how they were showing the athletes with their sportsmanship. And then it showed children mimicking what they were seeing. So I really loved that aspect of it. So it was good all the way around.
And that is so a pet peeve of mine, sportsmanship.
Oh, gosh,
And I
yeah.
love sports and go, but you know, I tell people even when they're playing basketball or whatever they're playing, sportsmanship can take you to the next
Oh,
level.
yeah.
A bad attitude,
Oh,
no.
mm-mm.
But all of them show such good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Sportsmanship.
gosh, the
Yes.
smiles, the coaches, the cheering,
Just
made you just
everything.
watch. I couldn't leave it.
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
not
I
leave
was
it.
really-
And I love the volleyball one too.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. That is like nerve wracking
Yes.
though, where I'm like, oh, are they going to, even our basketball team,
Yes.
our basketball team, that was too close for me. That was too close for us to have all those NBA stars on that court.
Well, now look, I love LeBron, but Steph Curry should have got
I love
MVP.
Gary.
Oh, I love me some
Look,
Steph Curry.
Steph
Oh,
Curry carried that
man.
team shooting.
Woo, hold
Now,
on,
and I
hold
was
on.
kind of upset when
Woo.
LeBron got MVP. I was like, I'm happy for him, but Steph should have got
Oh,
that one.
Steph. Oh
Yes.
gosh, I love me some
Uh-huh.
Steph. Mm. Yes, yes.
So-
his
He's
little.
so cute.
Shake it, Steph,
I
shake
didn't watch
it.
that part.
Oh, yeah. But we'll move on to our topic for today is name changes.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, we're going to be talking about should females be changing their last names at marriage. So you guys, I did a little research because I was like, you know, where did this all start? Who
I'm glad
started
you
it?
did.
Who started it? Well, the Europeans started it. So they had the thing called common law way back when, where obviously females didn't have the right to own land. They didn't have a pretty much right to do anything, really. So when they married a man, they changed their name so they could have those quote rights. But it still falls under their husband, right? Is what it is. So that's how it started. But now we're at the point now where we're all professionals. We got a woman running for president of the United States. You know, we're educated, we own property, we own houses, we drive cars. So really, to me, times have changed since this common law thing started way back in the Europeans. So they were saying this was back in 1765. So 1765, that's a couple of hundred years ago.
Wow.
You know, and we're still carrying on that tradition. So to me, it started for all the wrong reasons.
Yes.
A woman didn't have any rights then, so she had to take on her husband's name. So that's why it started. I had no idea.
And it was made, if she didn't take on her husband's name, if something happened to him, she still may not have gotten the property. And I looked it up biblically and it was no scripture that said that they actually had to change their name culturally wise. There was no reason. But a lot of people took it out of Genesis 2:24.
Okay.
So where it came from when Adam named Eve. You know. Now, me personally, I kept my maiden name. My maiden name is King, so I added my name Barnes.
Yeah.
So because I wanted to represent both families. But a lot of times people don't realize that. And as I was researching, when people get married and they get divorced and the kids got the name of the father,
Yeah.
a lot of women wanted to keep that name of their husband just for family reasons.
Yeah.
So now.
So that I would like to address that because I experienced that. To me, when you do that, and to keep your last name because of the children, but the children grow, right? Especially if it's girl, she change. If we continue this tradition, right? But what psychological, emotionally does to you, then he gonna marry your ex-husband. So the new wife, she have his last name, and you guys go to the emergency room. Everybody there. Now, which are you? You see, emotionally, it does something to you.
Yeah.
Then you lose your identity in the middle of that.
Well, I think you lose your identity when you give up your last name to become a part of him.
The new husband, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's where the identity
Traditionally,
is lost.
Diana, that's what we do in the Philippines. When we were born, okay, so my first name, and then I'll take my mom's last name, and then my dad's last name. So Agnes Abelia Mozuela. Now I got married, right? So the Abelia, which was my mom's last name, will be omitted. I will keep my dad's name and my married
And
name.
then add
So
your husband's name.
Agnes Mozuela Herman.
Yes.
So you keep
And-
your dad's name now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of countries and culture that carries both the mom's name and the dad's name, which I love. Hispanic culture is like, or the Latin community is like that too. But I'm gonna give you guys some statistics because I had to research on how many people actually changed their names. So the Pew Research Survey conducted in 2023, so it's recent, roughly 80% of women surveyed opted to take their husband's last name.
80%?
80%. Roughly 14% kept their given name and 5% hyphened their name.
Wow.
So it's still the number one thing to do then,
This
is
is
to take the name. But now I'm thinking, because you think of so many successful women, you know, I'll talk about my daughters again. You know, they're not married yet, but they're already, one's gonna be a doctor or have her doctorate degree. One already owns her own house, her own home. You know, so when you think about when they do get married, you know, I wonder if they're listening. Put in the chat if you're going to move to your husband's name. But, you know, they're established. They're established in the community. They're established in their career. You know, would it be feasible for them to change their name because it's tradition?
And it's a lot of paperwork to change it too.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of paperwork to change it or change back. And you gotta, of course, money's involved too.
Yeah.
But saying that, I was looking at the Chinese culture don't even change their last name. And then there's a culture
Africa,
that
we
the
don't change.
husbands
Ethiopia, we
actually
don't
takes the wife's name. There's
Yeah.
cultures like that.
Ethiopia, we don't change either. I changed when I came here because I came fiance visa, and I thought I have to change. And that's what my at the time my fiance told me that you have to change your last name. Well,
Oh, he
then I
wanted
can
you to change
yes,
your name.
but
That's what
I
it
didn't
was.
have option. I thought, okay, if I have to change, then I'm gonna change.
Yeah.
Then I went that process after our divorce. I went back to change, and when you divorce decree, you can request. They actually ask you, do you want to get your last name back? I'm like, sure, I
my
want.
gosh, yeah.
So now I'm fully Fathiya Ramadan Ahmed. I feel like I am me. Now I feel like this is me, true Fathiya. So yeah, and
And it's funny you mentioned in the divorce decree where it says you got to change your name. So I have a cousin. I love her dearly, but her husband, her ex-husband, did not allow her to change her name in the divorce decree. She still carries his name, and so in order to change it, she has to go back to court and ask to get her own name back.
no, they actually they give you option if you have lawyer.
No, I am telling you.
Wow.
In the divorce decree, he did not allow her to change her name.
They asked me. They asked
So
me
it's
like
in the
you have
paper.
option.
Yeah. So
Yes.
once it was in the divorce decree, yeah. So she actually has to go back to court to get her
Name
name changed back to her maiden name.
Because her husband didn't want her to have the name
That's
changed.
crazy.
But
How sad.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy on why we change our names.
I know.
Okay.
Listen,
Oh, and
listen.
here's another question. What if, say I was the last of my family's name. I have children. Would it be okay for me to give my children my last name instead of my husband's last name because they are the last of the name?
right, to carry the family
To
name
carry
on.
the family name on. Is
That becomes a battle now between you and the spouse.
exactly.
You and the spouse,
dad, because you
yeah.
want to carry that last name
carry the
on.
last name? So I think there's a lot of stuff people got to discuss nowadays
Yeah.
to get married.
It has to be because, like, I think when the children you have, they should carry their father's last name. So back home in my country, we take like, I am Fathiya, right? That's my first name. My dad name is Ramadan. That's my dad name. Then Ahmed is my grandfather. So that's how we carry. And so my dad name is Ramadan, but my grandfather is Ahmed. So we carry Fathiya Ramadan Ahmed.
So what do your children carry though?
So my children, they should keep their fathers. And like my son now is Amir Hall, right? That is, I agree to, they should carry their father's first name. Sometimes they give first name or last name. But I don't agree to give my children to my father or my grandfather name because the DNA is the father. They should have that right to carry their father's last name. I believe
But
that.
what if you were the last in your family's name?
It's still something that agreement between husband and
I know,
wife.
but I'm asking you, would you want to? I think if
I'm
not the last of my family's name, but I think if I was, I would want to have my children carry on my family's name.
Especially if there was no boys in the family.
Yeah,
that
the
carry
boys
the name
carry.
on.
say
The boys
that.
carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
a lot of times the boys takes on
Yeah.
the father's name
Right.
to carry that hair
To
strong.
carry it on.
But there was no boys in it. Look at, I'm gonna read this to you.
Yeah.
So when I was looking up in the biblical term, when people were saying Jesus Christ was the last name, and it's not. It's not. It's Jesus who is the Christ, the Messiah.
Uh-huh.
It does not mean that his last name.
Yeah.
Also, they was trying to take it out of the Bible. Aaron the Levite was just saying where it was from. It wasn't really a last name.
Oh.
Aaron the Levite. So it goes, all the way with different ones. Just saying that Simon the Tanner, Tanner wasn't the last name, but a way to distinguish who Simon was, what kind of occupation he had. So it had really
That
nothing to
makes
do
sense,
in the
though.
biblical term.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So,
amazing to me.
but they use that, right? If I'm not, they use
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
They said because you have to take your husband last name because he's your husband. Do they quote from the Bible sometimes?
No,
when
when
they
I
get
when I
married?
researched it, like I'm of course Adam named Eve, and that's how they got where we should change our name from, pretty much.
But he gave
but-
her identity. He
There
did not
you
give
go.
her his last name. Adam, he didn't have last name.
Right.
He was the
Absolutely
beginning.
right.
So where did that came? Like where it came from?
I'm telling you where it came from.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like no, biblically, where like
No.
he gave her identity for her to recognize who she is as woman, as
Yeah,
his
yeah.
name, but not last name.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Matthew was a tax collector. That's what he did. So a lot of it was just the occupation of it.
Uh-huh.
But
For
how
what they
we
did.
really
But we got
just
it from the
accept-
time.
When you get married, you know, in the church or whatever, you become one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you become one. Mm-hmm.
But that
And of
one
course-
it means individually,
That's
you
what-
who you are. You are Raquel. You have your identity. Your husband has his own, you know. But coming together means that as team, it's like you have a business, you team now. You guys work together. Doesn't not mean you have to lose your identity. He has to lose identity. No, we two people have their own opinion. They have own background, own experience, but coming together as one. But it doesn't not mean you have to be me and I have to be you.
Well, this part right here, it says the function very close to the last name. Today, our last name used the same distinction. I'm gonna use John Smith identifies as you're part of the Smith family. So Barnes identifies that I'm part of the Barnes family.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what it came from. That you identify now I'm part of this family.
Yeah.
But if you go back in where you came from, we couldn't own anything. Nothing. Back in those days. But you know, women just really got the rights to vote. The women just really got the
100
rights
years
to do a
ago.
lot.
Because
It
back
wasn't
then-
always.
Because back then our rules and regulations are so unlimited. I mean,
Oh yeah, we was very limited. Yeah. And there's some countries that are still that way too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
and
thank
sometimes
God.
I think changing name is important as well, especially those people who have done wrong in the past. They want to have that fresh start, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fresh start.
Oh
for them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're talking about just a person just changing their name, or because of marriage they chose to change the name because of their family's name. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I
Didi,
think
how
what
many
I'm
times did he
talking
change
about
his last
is-
name? His name, Didi? What?
Oh my
Changing
God.
his name. We never know what
I don't know.
Didi
I don't
or
know
what
what
to
to
call
call
him.
him.
I'm
He's
not
trying to
this
find
today.
his identity.
Listen, I'm
He's
not
still
this
looking.
today. I'm not gonna be this name this year,
Yeah,
and this is what I'm gonna have next year. I'm gonna be somebody else.
yeah. Oh my goodness.
Agnes, what we was getting ready to say?
Yeah, I guess what I'm talking about is that, you know, people who got, you know, raped in the past or
Oh, yeah.
they wanted to have their identity changed because they want to have a fresh
fresh
start.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
I was just thinking
that's
about that.
true.
true. And sometimes different occupation, you may change your name. Just you know, whatever you're in. Like I may be known by this if I'm modeling, but that's really not my name.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
When people
You know,
do different things, they know
And I-
about different things.
Yeah, and a prime example is Jennifer Lopez. So when Jennifer Lopez married Ben Affleck, she changed her name to Affleck. But still, the whole world knows her by
Knows-
Jennifer
yes,
Lopez.
Right. That's how they know about it.
Yeah.
So 30% of Americans don't feel that a woman should change her name after marriage, and the trend appears to be growing in popularity.
Yeah.
30%.
I see it growing because of women's roles are changing in our society. Like I said, we're finally having a woman running for president, with chances are good that she might become the first female president. We have females running corporations. We have females, I mean, CEOs. We got females senators, you know, representatives, you know, on city councils, and I mean they're in the government now. We got females, heck, even in the military.
Yes.
You know, that wasn't too long ago either. It's still been under 100 years
Right.
since females were able to serve in the military. But there's, I just think our roles are changing now. Women are getting married later in life now too.
Yes.
That makes
Yes.
a difference.
Yes.
I know a lot that are 30 plus. getting
Yes,
married.
they're waiting and they're established. That's what I mean. I think the roles
no
are
kids,
changing.
too.
No kids. Yes.
But
So-
ladies, this is what I know, okay? when we are born, we had been given a very noble names.
Mm-hmm.
And I also believe that once we get married, we should take the name of our partner.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me.
Yeah, yeah.
Majority does that though.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely, obviously took the name of my husband.
Painter.
Painter, so I am one who paints. I am a painter.
So,
But,
what about if we switch the table? What about if we say, okay, man, now it's time for you to change your last name for me? Then what?
I wonder
How
how
about
many
that?
men do that.
Yeah, but
I
say,
don't see.
I want you to take my last name.
Okay, so there's a question here
Uh-huh.
from Christina Dixon. Why can't the men take the women last name?
Oh,
That's
I just
what
said
we were
that.
just talking about. And
Yeah,
it's funny.
why can't men do that? If you love me, change your last
Yeah.
name. Carry my last name. Let's give our children my last
I
name.
think that would really hit the male's ego. I
Thank you.
really think so.
Thank you.
I'm thinking
Who
that.
wants to be known as?
Amen.
You know.
Especially me.
Well, if you go back to
know?
it in the beginning, you know, they say, according to the word, by them being the head, being the leader, biblical term.
They're head of the household.
Yes, the head of the household. That's where it came from, where the woman actually took the name of him because he was the leader. He was the one that was, you know, establishing. But there's nowhere to say that they couldn't, but I think that would be something, probably be more harder for them to change their name because now they're walking away from the complete family.
Yeah.
Mentally wise.
I would
Mentally
say,
wise.
if
I think
am
it
the
would be
one-
tough. I
Mentally
think it would
wise.
be tough.
Christina, if I am the one bringing the money, yes, he should follow me.
But that's a good
But-
question. I'll be curious to know how many men actually changed their name.
But you know, there are good men that lead his family and good provider, protector, and all that, and good husband. And if that woman should take her last name and she will be proud. They are men. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. You're still carrying their last name. Now you're ending up divorced. You still want to carry that last name?
Well,
Just
some
be-
people want to
be-
keep it for the children's
Some
sake,
people-
but if you're not having
again,
kids, you might not. But for the
It's all-
children's sake,
Yeah.
some women
I
want
don't
to
think
keep it
I'd
for
want
that.
a different name for my children.
Yeah.
So if you don't want different name for your children, especially if you have little girl that grow to be a woman for herself and mother or wife, then she's gonna change her last name. Then what? What do you fit in?
Well, then you could change your name. But I think it's hard because I would say that because I adopted 2 children. Okay, one of them changed their name to Painter, and the other one kept his name. And I think it's confusing, especially with school. I'll just use school as an example, because now they're asking, well, are you a guardian? No, I'm not the guardian. I'm the mother. You know, so it really makes it confusing because their name is different.
But-
because they're used to
Calling the same.
children's name being the same as the parents.
They're siblings too, right?
Yeah, they're siblings still. They're, you know, one just kept his name, and the other one went ahead and changed it during the adoption. And they were older, so obviously I got them when they were 2 and 3 years old. I didn't adopt them until they were 10 and 11. Because I wanted to wait for them to be at that age to make that determination. And
Right.
one of them decided to keep his name, the other one changed his name. But people look at you differently because they got a different last name.
People look at you different, period.
Well,
because
period,
I'm,
regardless.
For
I'm dark
anything.
skinned and my kids are bright skinned, and they was like, "Is that really your mom?"
Oh,
I did
right.
that. And my kids dealt with it. I was like, "No, tell them I'm a chicken."
You cannot please people. You will not do things that because to please people. I believe that everybody they should carry their identity, regardless what background you come from. But that is you. That is your family. That's your DNA. Yeah, some family they're not so good. They're not good at all.
Right.
But that is your bloodline.
Right. I'm going to make this other point too that I
Okay.
was going back on the scripture part. It says, "But taking his last name, she's making a spiritual, symbolic decision to mirror the relationship between Christ and the church."
That listen.
I'm trying to figure out that one there.
Diana, that is so beautiful.
Symbolize a marriage in the Bible symbolize a unique
But that's
bond.
always
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's beautiful. That's how it's
And-
scripted. Is wonderful. Is that's what it really happened in reality?
Huh.
That's something
That's
that-
interesting. So
yeah.
that's from the church side. So I'm gonna bring up religion fascinates me. I've always been fascinated by religion because there's so many similarities. So even when you talk about Greek mythology, for example, because now we just can't fathom that was the religion back then. But there was a flood. There was one taken over another. There's so many similarities throughout all the religions. There's always those similarities. But I'm thinking when the churches came, and the people who had the church, whether it's a pastor, a reverend, priests are the ones that can't get married, right? Okay, so before they used to be able to get married, but when they should pass, everything went to the family.
You're right.
But the church wants it to go to the church. So then they made the rule that they cannot get married.
Okay, so we have another one from Tamika, and she said, what are your thoughts on women taking the man's last name, yet dropping her middle name and keeping her original last name? I know quite a few people whom gotten married and kept their maiden last name, but added their partner's last
That's
name.
kind of what
in
you
their
do.
place.
That's the hyphen. That's the hyphen that you put in it.
Yeah, they do that.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
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 So it's easy to when some people reason they keep that, and then when they get divorced, easily they can just drop, and you don't have
You
to
just
go
drop
through.
the name.
Yeah. So yeah,
It's easier.
Yeah, yeah. But that one there almost sounded like she was talking about like dropping your middle name and making that your maiden
last
name
name,
and then adding the last name?
no, she's saying that you should.
Or is
keep
she
your
saying
own last
hyphenated?
name.
Yeah. Because I didn't have a
Dropping her
middle name.
and keeping her original last name.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't have
That's
middle
that's
name.
a way
I don't have middle name. My middle name is my father. So that's how we say, like, they name you first name, then you take your dad's name, then your grandfather name. That's my last name.
Oh, that's how
Yeah.
you guys do that.
Yeah, my middle
Oh.
name is not.
So the
is-
grandfather's name from your mom's side
No,
or your
my
dad's
dad,
side?
my dad's side. So, like,
why wouldn't
they
they
give
have
you
the same
first name
name?
is Raquel, right? Then they give you your dad name.
But you're
Yeah.
talking about the last name though, or the first
The
name?
middle name, the middle name
Middle name.
is your dad name, and your last name is your grandfather last name.
But wouldn't they have the same name?
No, it's like my dad is Ramadan, my grandfather is Ahmed.
Let's
So
see here.
that is my middle name, is my father's name.
Oh, okay.
My grandfather
So like
is Ahmed.
ours would be the grandfather had the son
Yeah,
takes the
you guys-
grandfather's
yes.
name,
No,
and then their
back
child
home.
takes their name.
No, my
Yours
home
is
not
totally
like this. It's
different.
different. My middle name is my father's name.
Well, that's my middle, because I didn't have a middle name. So I
Okay.
kept King
Okay,
and then added Barnes.
Yeah.
okay,
Because I didn't have a middle name.
okay. Yeah, I don't have.
And
a
you know
middle name.
what? That makes so much sense because your father was a prominent figure in the community. You know what I mean? I can see where you'd want to keep that connection
Yes.
with that name.
Because everywhere I go, a lot of people knew him,
Yeah.
King. And they knew us by King. But then also my husband is very, very active.
Very
a lot of people
active.
know him by Barnes, so the connection is always there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Hi Tamika, yeah, this is so true. This is how we do it also in the Philippines. This is what she said. For example, if my partner last name was Smith, okay, if my partner last name was Smith, my name would be Tamika Smith Harrison to keep my maiden name, but also take my partner's. So you're saying your partner's last name would be Smith, your last name is Harrison, so she's putting her
Last name.
His
her
name
last
first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his name first and then her last
her
name.
last
Okay.
name.
I guess
Yeah.
you can do that too,
Okay.
of course, yeah. You just have
Yeah.
to talk to your husband.
I think
That's
whenever
okay.
you do of course, when you put in for your marriage, you fill out how you want it to be.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But it is a hassle when you try to go back and change anything because I was looking, you changing your name on your financial records,
Yeah.
Social Security, your driver's license has to match
Everything.
a lot.
Everything.
3
Because you
times
can
I
really
went
get in trouble.
But then, you're talking even like your insurance.
Yes.
I'm not talking about, but
Everything.
life
Yeah.
insurance. If that's not right, that money's not going out.
Oh,
That's
no.
right.
your,
It has to change your social
especially
security
your will.
card.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
ma'am.
Your social security card.
Especially your will.
Your social.
Yes.
It's very.
It's very important that
Yeah.
it's detailed
I-
right.
So
I
there's
went
a lot
to
of
Lubbock
stuff.
3 times because they misspelled when I was going through the changing process. But what they will tell you is when I went back to my driver license to change, and it did not match my last name on my
Social
divorce.
Security card.
No, my divorce decree and my Social Security card.
Oh,
So I
got
have
it.
to go back.
Mhm.
As long the Social Security is correct, you can change anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you got the money.
Mhm.
No, not
Because
yet.
you gotta pay.
I have
You
to pay.
it. Mhm.
Yeah.
They're very thorough now.
But
You
I'm so
just
glad
miss
I did it.
one letter.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm glad I did it. Yes, it was a lot of process because we don't have here. I have to drive 1 hour away, but it's worth it to. When now people call me Fatia Ramadan Ahmed, that
Well, what happens when
Yeah.
you have a check or something to come into your name that you
Oh,
had before?
that's okay.
You just gotta take all the paperwork?
yeah, I have to take a paper and to the bank and
I'm sure the bank has a
yeah,
history
the
of what your
history.
names were.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So what about, we're talking about name changes. So what if you are a woman, got pregnant, but not married, don't plan on getting married? Where would you
Name your
have your
child?
child take the dad's
Oh,
name still?
So this is I'm glad you say that.
Yeah, yeah.
I was young when I have my oldest son.
Okay.
I was 17, and I knew his
Mm-hmm.
dad's name. His dad name. I knew his dad name. So when I had him, my sister usually they name grandfather back home. They name his grandfather. That was my dad. It was there. But since I knew his father, but he was military, French military. I didn't know when I'm gonna see him, but I want him to keep his father name.
Okay.
I named my son his father name, knowing that I might not ever see him again. Guess what, Raquel? I'm glad I did that. 20 years later, my son meet his dad
Wow.
because I kept his last name, and I find for my son to meet his dad, and by social media and through to Facebook, I find. So now he has brothers and sisters, are the same last name in the middle name, so it was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Fatia, what happens when somebody named their child somebody's last name and they really ain't the father, and find out later on that they're not the father of
Guess
that child?
what? I'm glad you say that
Oh, my
too.
goodness.
Listen, Diana, I'm glad you say that. They did DNA of my son. My son is 19 at the time, and he, of course he's married.
Who
right?
asked for the DNA? His dad?
His dad, he lived France.
Okay, okay.
His wife say, I would like to know the DNA. I say, okay, you live in France, pay for it, send the thing. Guess what? I did the wipe my son. He's like 19 at the time. We sent back. Guess what? They sent me say, oh, he's my son. I said, congratulations.
But it's not like, I wonder why was she do
Because
that?
he didn't know his for 20 years he was not part. My son, he didn't know his
Yeah.
dad for 20 years.
He wanted to make sure.
So they want to
it's
make
the
sure
son.
now. I'm finding because my son, he want to know whose his dad he is.
I
So
would have done
now
the same thing.
I connect. I
Like I
connect.
pay child support, I wanna make sure that
wow.
that person is
I connect because now he's married. He has
Yeah.
children, right? They
And
want to know.
I could definitely see what child support stuff, but I was like, he was 19.
Right.
Yeah,
I
but
was
no,
like,
it's not about child
Should he have
support.
to
They
pay
just
back
want to
child
know.
support?
I know, right?
No, they just want to know.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
But
sometimes
he
people
did-
claim.
Oh gosh, I got sneeze.
Sneeze.
not-
It's not out.
Bless you.
My country, they do like this, but from the back. But no, really, I'm glad they did. They asked because the wife, she want to know who this woman that now, 20 years later, she's looking for his your son. I wanted to know, and she have right to do
That's
so.
right.
So I provide that. They email me. They say, oh, he is. I'm like, congratulations. I'm
But
glad
it's
you guys
happening
find
to a
it.
lot of people though,
Yes,
that,
yeah.
where it may not
It's
be their
unpopular.
child.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I will want to know for sure, yeah, that is my child to, to bring in, because especially if I had inheritance or something left, for the family, I want to ensure that, hey, this is the one, for it.
They
Yeah.
ask me my DNA too.
Yeah.
They ask me for my DNA.
Oh yeah.
If I am the mother, I say, what? It doesn't matter by adopting him. No, really, they say, oh, we want your DNA to be your mother. I say, you pay for? They say, yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
But you're right. I love that question you posed, Diana, if you name the child after somebody and come to find
Yeah.
out
You're not the.
they ain't the baby's daddy.
Right.
Yeah, that's
No, but
heartbroken.
then what
Because
do you do?
a lot of children go through that. A lot of
Yes,
people, really.
mhm.
One of my friends, she's 56, and she just found out that the father she's been calling him, he's not really her father. She's 56. Imagine that, your whole life.
But she thought that her whole life.
Yeah.
So then to me, then that's her father.
He is the father, but still,
Yeah.
like, finding out later on.
Oh yeah,
it's
later
just
on in
it hurts.
life. Yeah,
Really
that
was
would be
not the
that would hurt.
biological.
Mm-hmm.
But so much respect to these parents who have helped and grown these children.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
though they're not on.
Mhm.
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. hmm
Yeah.
So the decision to
Mhm.
change your last name is a personal choice or preference.
Mm. You
It's
know,
a
I
personal
think
choice.
It should be personal
it should
choice
be personal.
because
Well, really, it is because there's no law dictating that you have to. But tradition has kind of geared it that that's just what is
Yeah.
done. Just like you wear a white dress at a wedding, that's just like you know,
traditional.
yeah, it's all tradition.
Yeah.
But tradition is being broken.
That's right.
Because I'm seeing black dresses, all
Oh
different
my
colors.
gosh, all
at
different
weddings.
kinds.
And I'm like, oh, I don't know
All
whether, but it's
see-through,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when it
Gold. I
gold,
like the gold they wear.
Yeah.
But sometimes this is what, as being around a woman, they tell you like, girl, you have his last name. Why you worry about if another woman and she's in his life or not? That's manipulation and mental. I heard that.
Oh,
People
no.
saying that. Oh, you are the wife. You carry his last name. Why you care about the other chick that he's saying because he's those please
Cut into my
don't
funds.
Yeah.
don't do that too. Don't mentally
don't.
manipulate in a other person say because person carry last name she should be mistreated. No, that's not okay.
So
Really,
what
I
happens with
heard people
benefits
say that.
afterwards if he passes on? You gotta have something to be able to get the benefits, vice versa. Not
Yeah.
just if he, whatever. What happens?
That can be in the paperwork.
I know some
Why
that
has
they
to
would
be my
say.
last name? I have to take your last name. You love
I
you
know
want to
some
leave
that they would
something.
say, I don't
Put
care
in the
as long
writing.
as he
Yeah.
comes home to me.
Some women don't, you know.
Put in writing.
Agnes, I care.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I care.
No, Diana, that if man he want to leave something for you, it does not have to be pressure for you to change your last name.
Right.
It should be writing, period.
True, but what the society that we live in, we have to have proof if something happens.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You
saying.
have
It
to
has to
have
be
proof.
writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to
Gotta have
take your
proof.
last name for you to leave something behind for me.
Right.
No, that's
Yes.
dictating.
Yes.
No, that's not okay. Let the person do because they wanted to.
And what's strange too, we give the kids the spouse's last name, but most of the time the children are closer to the female side.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so
And-
amazing to me.
And I know, like in Native culture, I mean, you see with me and my sister how our boys are like babies, no matter how big they are, because they stay home. But the females, they go off on their own, whether they join another family to get married or whatever the case is. So the females are, I don't want to say they're stronger or more independent, but we raise them because we got to prepare them for leaving.
So do
Where
you prepare the boys for marriage to eventually leave, or how does
Oh
it?
no,
when-
my baby ain't going nowhere. My babies aren't going nowhere.
Oh, Michael,
They're your life. They're your life.
Michael's still, they're probably laughing. They're probably like, oh my, she putting her business out there. My baby still got a room at the house.
But ladies, what would be the proper age for a person to decide if he or she wants to change their name? 8 years old and above?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Well, when I adopted my two boys, they were, like I said, 10 and 11, and I gave them that option. And they thought it through logically, and one stayed and one changed. There's no regrets either way right now, and they're 17 and 18. So I think
adopted children
children
or biological
Well, some-
children?
children
some
are
adopted.
smarter than
Yeah.
what people give
They
them
are.
credit for.
And then some become adopted. You know, the father comes in and took care of them, and they want to be
Yeah,
such
they
an
wanna
honor
have
to
his
say,
last
"I
name."
want your last name, not the
Yes.
name that I have." That is really an honor
Uh-huh.
to be able to take that.
There
Yeah.
are children do that
Yes.
too. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
true. Mm-hmm.
But it's just amazing that, you know, your name carries on even after death.
Yes.
Your legacy.
That legacy carries on after
Carries
death.
on.
So a good name is something that you want to hold on
Oh,
to.
yeah.
I
A
just
good
want to
name.
add to
Take
the
care of
tradition.
it.
Woman back home, we call like salt. You know, when you season, if food doesn't
Salt,
have salt.
S-A-L-T?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when she goes somewhere, she's supposed to add something. Do you guys believe that?
I do.
Okay.
That's a Proverbs woman.
Yeah.
Being able to add,
And
you
yeah.
know, in the household to be able to take care of stuff. Women are strong. I tell people all the time.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
trying to take over a man's place. I'm just taking my rightful place.
Yeah, that's right. That's
it.
right.
You
And-
got your place. I'm not gonna fight for you over your strength, but I've got my rightful place that I can
Yeah,
be into.
that's right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and we have our own strengths. I
Yes.
think as women, we're able to handle. People say women are emotional and stuff. I think women are the strongest
We
in
are the
that
strongest.
aspect because you got to remember they got to take the pain of the children,
Oh yes.
of the husband. I mean, you know, they got to shoulder and manage that every day.
Do you know why we are strong? Because we are emotional.
Yeah,
We let it out.
we let it out.
Well, that's true.
We voice it. Yeah, that's right.
And I
that's
do
right.
think men need a body, somebody that they can help take them through the emotional part.
Yes,
Because
yes.
they ball a lot of inside. Where I'm gonna call you like, girl, this already got on my nerves.
Uh-huh.
Where
Yeah.
they may not.
And I think
be
we're
able
just
to.
built to handle emotion better,
We're built
or
stronger
the
than
different
forward to-
things that come our way.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
They
think so
hide.
too.
They hide. It's in here.
yeah. Because even when you talk about witnessing what your children go through in their life, I don't say the fathers don't do that because they do. But women are there to make sure, they got that shoulder to cry on and let it out, when they fall down and scuff their knee up when they're little. We're there
Right.
to bandage them up and fix them up
That's why there's a mother and a father to balance everything.
to balance it out.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
when they cry. First thing they run to is mother. When they're hungry, first person they run to is their mother. But when they want to have fun and stuff is,
Yeah.
especially for boy, they like to wrestle with
Oh
their
yeah.
father.
Yeah.
It's like
so a lot
we
of
need
stuff.
each other.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
a
the
balance.
balance.
It's
We
balance.
I
definitely
think
need
it's
to.
a balance.
Yeah.
Because especially when you think about how society visualizes a man and a woman, the woman provides all that emotional stuff, make sure the house is taken care of, where the man is the provider. He protects the family, he provides for the family. So I think it's a good balance.
Yep.
Agree.
It's time for
And
us
some
to change
cultures,
around.
yeah.
And
it's
that's what I'm
happening.
saying, it's changing now though. The
Yeah,
roles are changing.
Listen, I cannot wait men go to court say I'm gonna take my wife's last name.
Oh, yeah. I've been curious if there's any listeners out there. Has that happened? Do you know of a case where that has happened? I'd be curious to know.
Or they just say, you know what? Willingly, I'm gonna do that. Forget the traditional.
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But
just
I just
gonna-
don't see it. I just don't see
I think
it.
there will be some
I
men,
don't see men
that
doing it.
will do that.
Yeah.
Women
I
in power.
agree.
It can happen. Let's
Yeah.
lobby it.
Sometimes not the power. Listen, sometimes why it has to be about the power? What about love? Let's exchange. Let's show me like we've been doing for such a long time. Let's say, hey, sister, wifey, I got you now. I'm gonna change your last name. It doesn't have to
I
be
don't
about
know.
power.
I think it is going to. I don't see that changing. I don't see that.
Well,
changing.
you will be surprised.
Especially when I just said 80% of the people are women are changing their names when they get married. That's a huge percentage. It's not
Yeah.
like it's tossed, a 50-50. That's like 80% of the people.
And what percent was hyphenated?
You said
5%.
5%.
5% was hyphenated. Let me
That's
double
amazing
check
to
my
me.
stats.
That
yeah.
is really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
things are happening. Things are changing.
Crazy.
We are changing.
They are.
Yes.
But I think it makes a difference that people are getting,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we're running out of time, guys, but I think it's changing because females are not getting married as early as they used to.
Right.
So they're more
Because
established.
which now has changed, which is good because back in the day there was a lot of arrangements.
Oh my
of marriage.
gosh!
Yes.
Like 13
Yeah.
years
Yes.
old, like
Yes.
young.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think some
Other
countries are
countries.
still like that. Some countries are still like that.
So, thank you guys for watching us today. Don't forget to share, like, follow, tell a friend to follow us. Also, we have sponsorship opportunities. So follow that up there. Look for us on August the 28th when we talk about women in leadership.
Wow.
Women in leadership. We'll see you then August the 28th. Again, thank you for following.
Bye.
Bye-bye.